Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the 233621 H501. So despite the slightly strange name, this is an active noise cancelling pair of headphones which sells on Amazon for about $100. It's a bit more expensive than other options we've seen recently by Mono Deals and also by Jobery, but this one is still not as expensive as perhaps Bose models, so it still allows you to save a bit of extra cash while offering a pretty good audio quality for the money. It does have a standard 3.5mm jack. It doesn't use Bluetooth, so it's not completely wireless, although what's impressive about these is that it claims to suppress up to 92% of ambient background noise, which is a bit better than the average 80 to 85% we see from cheaper noise-canceling headphones, so that's something that's going to be interesting to look at. It also uses standard AA batteries as opposed to a rechargeable battery to be operated, so that's a difference to quickly point out. Otherwise, the box here is pretty nicely presented, shows you the various accessories, including airplane adapters, which are included. As far as technical specifications are concerned, they do have 40mm drivers. It has an independence of 100 ohms. You can see the sensitivity is also labeled over here, and provides a battery life of up to 50 hours, which is significantly longer than rechargeable batteries, which tends to get you about 30 hours of playback, or about 15 hours with the active noise cancelling component on. So that is one of the benefits of using standard batteries, but it also will cost you more money in the long time. So you don't have to actually use the batteries if you are just listening to music without turning on the ANC or active noise cancelling, but with that component on, it's going to drain the power more. It uses a few microphones to detect background sounds and cancel that out. So here is an instruction manual that is documented in multiple languages, as well as a warranty guide. There's also a hard shell case which allows you to protect your investment when you're traveling, with the company's rather peculiar name stamped onto the front. So taking a quick look at the contents, we have access to the headphones. Take a closer look at that in a moment. There's also accessories in the form of a detachable 3.5mm cable, which is nice to see. It means that if you damage the cable, if it tears, if it breaks, you can still replace it easily online without having to throw out the entire headphone, which is nice to see. Otherwise, there's the aforementioned adapter for the airplane, as well as a studio plug, and there's also the two different 3.5mm cables. One includes a volume controller as well as a remote control, allows you to change the volume if you're listening to music and you have it plugged into an MP3 player or even a smartphone or let's say an iPhone or an Android device. It also includes a tactile control for answering or rejecting your call or playing pause the music. The other side features an ambient or I would say an isolating microphone. It's not a noise cancelling microphone, something to quickly note, but you can use it to answer calls, and it does a decent job, I would say. This one has a flat ribbon wire design so it doesn't tangle, and it's a traditional plug and also a traditional cable, so best suited just for music listening if you're not planning on using it for making calls or plugging it into a smartphone. So looking at the design of the headphones next, they are made entirely out of plastic, so the band itself is made out of metal, but otherwise they are extremely lightweight. As far as the overall look is concerned, they're a bit more bulky than I would say traditional headphones because they do have a over-the-ear style, so that means that the cushions will rest almost on the outside of your ears, or ears will rest on the inside here, which isolates quite a bit of sound just naturally because of the design that's going on here. Something that I think is notable here is the design of the hinge. It kind of flexes outwards, as you can see here, which reminds me of Nokia Bluetooth headphones that we saw before. Yes, Nokia indeed did make Bluetooth headphones. They were also noise cancelling, and one of the benefits of having a design like this is it puts less stress on the sides of your heads, also allows you to still comfortably use your headphones if you wear glasses. So it's a nice design, even though it does look a bit strange and odd and doesn't really rest against the skull or the back of your head, so something to quickly note. The cushion used on the very top here is not as generous as the one found on competitors, such as the Jobery one that we just saw a few days ago, but it still is fairly comfortable. The same thing can be said about the cushions over the ears. It's very soft in terms of the padding. This one does a decent job as far as not retaining too much heat either. I found them to be slightly more comfortable, so you can wear them for 4 to 5 hours without having too many issues. So overall pretty good for long flights, for longer transportations, on trains. If you're on a bus, it does a decent job. The side features a switch for turning on or off the active noise cancelling component, along with an LED light, which will turn on to show you that mode is powered on. The bottom features access to the standard 3.5mm plug, which is a little bit recessed, so it's not going to work with every single cable out there, but it will work, of course, with the standard ones provided, as well as a few other ones that you can find that has a more of a slimmer port when you're plugging it in. They can be collapsed like so for transportation, cancellation. And otherwise, the band itself, of course, can be adjusted, so it is pretty comfortable from a design perspective. Nothing too flashy, nothing too fancy looking, but they are, again, very comfortable to wear, and despite the rather bulky size, they are, again, quite lightweight. So moving into the overall audio performance and the active noise cancelling component next, I will say that they work quite well. The battery door is actually located onto the sides here, so you have to swivel this and rotate it, push it upwards to pop in the single AAA battery. Battery life here is, again, pretty decent. Something I did notice is, although it does drone out the background sound quite effectively, for example, if you hear some engines, if you hear some talking or whispering in the background, you can't really hear it anymore. It does apply a fair amount of pressure over your head as well as over your ears, or at least creates the illusion of doing that through the active noise cancelling effect. So as a result, I found that even though it does work very well, of course, for flights, if you're just using them generally, maybe in a car or maybe in the house, it does create a likelier chance of a headache, at least for me when I was testing them out. Something to quickly note, of course, it's going to vary from person to person, but that component definitely works, and when I compared it with some Nokia and Bose headphones that also featured active noise cancellation, I have to say this is equally as impressive in terms of that effect of drowning out the background, and the same thing goes with the overall performance of these headphones from a music perspective. They offer a good amount of bass, so they pack quite a punch under lower frequencies. If you're listening to rock music, that's going to become apparent with a beat, maybe a drum. And if you're listening to higher frequencies as well, these are quite clear sounding headphones. So they don't really distort the sound. They're natural sounding, they're clean sounding, all very good attributes to have. And if you're listening to electronic music, pop music, those are all things that you'll be very comfortable with using these headphones. It does have that exclusive made for Apple, iPhone, and iPod logo on the side, so it of course will work with basically anything with a 3.5mm jack in addition to iOS devices just fine. So music quality here is actually pretty good. It definitely competes with, I would say, other sub $100 headphones on the market. Not an audiophile grade pair of headphones, but overall very powerful. The volume is quite loud, comfortable, packs a punch, so pretty good. Of course, if you have noise cancellation turned on, it's not going to produce the cleanest sound in the world because it has a natural hissing or a bit of static in the background, which can be found with most active noise cancelling headphones out there. So that's to be expected. If you want the best music experience, the option there is just to turn that feature off, and they already isolate a good amount of sound anyways. It doesn't really leak sound either, so you can't really hear, if someone's sitting next to you, they can't really hear what you're listening to, so that's nice to see as well. So all in all, I have to say that these headphones by 233621 are pretty attractive as far as performance and value for the money is concerned. It emulates the design and the performance of much more expensive models out there, perhaps $150 or $200 of active noise cancelling headphones. They're comfortable, they're nice in terms of the overall performance of the sound quality, and overall I do like what the company has done here with this particular model. So you can check out more details about these in our official written review, but this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS.